Hi, I'm the Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your date to remember tarot reading for Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Rising, and Sagittarius Moon. So I've already laid out the cards for you for the three most significant dates of August. And your first one is August the 4th. And on this day, there's some kind of falsity that you're dealing with, some kind of pretense. Somebody is presenting a false face in the relationship, and perhaps that's you or another person. There's a secret agenda to a situation where perhaps someone doesn't want to reveal everything. They're keeping something under wraps. They're packaging it up differently than what it actually is. Someone may be very different from the attractive veneer that they're presenting. So in your connection with another person, one of you is acting under some kind of pretense, as if you have the other person's best interest at heart, when in fact, that's not the case. So this may be a false friend, could be a liar, an opportunist, a poser, imposter, con. Something is not as it appears. Now, given the current circumstances, this could also mean that there's a strong focus on a mask, wearing a mask, not wearing a mask. You're enchanted with something. So there's an enchantment with perhaps someone who is presenting a false face, or you're not really showing how enchanted you are with something. There's a desire to bring your ideas to life. Maybe you want to attract what you desire. You're influencing someone. And maybe you're not, maybe that's the secret agenda. You want to wield some kind of influence without the person really recognizing that that's what you're doing. It could be, though, that there are some illusions, that you're looking at something that's not what it appears to be on the surface, and that you need to take some steps. So I need to dig deeper to uncover the root of my unhappiness. So if you may be masking, your feelings, your emotions, or maybe somebody is not telling you the truth, or you can't really see what's going on. And you may think that something on the surface is the cause of your unhappiness, but this is saying you really need to look closely, because there really is an underlying cause that may not be readily apparent about why you're displeased with something. Now, the second date is the 17th, and you have death reversed, so that may be the refusal to let go of something that's unhealthy for you, some kind of commitment or relationship, or you're holding on to a relationship or habits that just are no longer serving you. Maybe you're trying to revive a dead situation. And perhaps this has to do with, taking off, maybe starting a trip somewhere, or, trying to gain your freedom, or looking for new horizons, or simply running away from issues where you're not adequately seeing them. So perhaps, there may be a tie to a Scorpio person, and you may not be seeing that clearly, or a Scorpio may be presenting a false face, or there may be scorpionic issues that need to be resolved. For some of you, this may be a large sum of money, and maybe it's tied to a trip or taking off and getting money. Maybe money for a vacation, could be a stimulus check, a refund, a rebate. Maybe there are issues surrounding insurance or surgery. For some of you, maybe this is cosmetic surgery. Maybe you don't want to tell people what you've had done. Or for some of you, this is some kind of health challenge that maybe you can't really get to the root of it. It could be some psychological issues. Could be sexual issues, but something is, you're having a difficult time letting go of it. But some flowers are only meant to last for a season. So if you're holding on to something that isn't serving you, just know that whatever came into your life for a particular reason. It served its purpose. It's now reached its expiration date, and it's time to let it go. The last date you have is the 27th. So this is perhaps you looking at history, or it could be, some kind of legacy. Now, it may be somebody's not telling the truth, or there's some confusion surrounding an inheritance or a will or property matters. It could also connect to large institutions. Those could be spiritual, educational, government, large companies. And so you may be listening to your intuition regarding the history of something. It may also center around traditional values or conservatism or dealing with people who have a lot of power. You may even be reflecting on your own legacy, how you want to make your mark in the world, what you want to leave behind. Perhaps you or your partner comes from a family with a great deal of wealth or power, influence. You may be looking at family traditions, family heritage. There, again, could be issues surrounding money. This may be inheritance, investments, assets, royalties. And there could also be this idea of, who to connect with. Are they in your same social status or sphere? Maybe that's an unhealthy viewpoint that you're holding on to, or you're holding on to somebody that really, it's a total mismatch. You come from totally different backgrounds, culture, status. And those are things that can be worked out if you're both willing to, compromise or learn each other. But, there could be issues surrounding whether you're staying within your perceived, and I underscore perceived, elevated social status or circle. For some of you, you're looking at, an arranged marriage, an arranged connection, something that is coming together on the basis of mutual goals that, not necessarily heart, but goals. So you're getting some guidance, maybe from your spirit guides, maybe just exploring your own psyche or listening to your inner voice, or it could be that you need to seek some kind of direction. And if that's so, you also have, I can open to new perspectives without feeling threatened. So, if there are differences, whatever those differences may be, perhaps it's time for you to really look at the differences and the commonalities. You may be surprised. Listen to your intuition, or open up to what your guides are telling you, or open up to what others are sharing with you that may somehow enhance your life, change your perspective in some way. And maybe you were resistant to that. Now, the underlying card is privacy. So there's something going on perhaps behind closed doors. You may be reclusive, you may want to be very private, or you may be connecting with somebody who's difficult to know or access. It could be that something behind the scenes, backdoor negotiations, behind closed doors, or being using your discretion because of circumstances could be important. Could simply be that you need more time alone for yourself, or you need to spend more time alone together with your partner. Whatever this is, it's about letting yourself shine. Now, maybe you're very different behind closed doors. Maybe outwardly you are conservative and traditional, but behind closed doors, you're very bubbly, you're very open, very enthusiastic. So you may be the center of attention. Now, maybe you are the focus behind closed doors for whatever reason. Maybe you're not really showing things. You're keeping a lid on your own light for whatever reason. Maybe you're not expressing yourself the way you want to, or you're keeping a talent hidden or under wraps, or you're not showing your confidence. Or it could be that you're just closing the door on situations because you're just oblivious to something. Maybe you're absorbed in your own affairs. So you're listening to your intuition about something that is not quite as it appears, a false face, an untruth on your part or that of others. There's an enchantment that you have and a history of being drawn to something, perhaps power, money, status. And, maybe you're holding on to something that's unhealthy, and maybe it's time to take off, or something took off, you have to let it go. So you're looking at some issues connected to a long history, perhaps, of unhealthy situations. Now, Your advice card is retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. So for some of you, again, this may be connected to institutions. They may be hospitals, retreats, rehabilitation centers. It could be spas, anything where you unplug and you are very private from the world. And again, whether you're wearing a mask or not wearing a mask may be an issue with regard to protocol, guidelines, institutions. It could also be, again, that you just simply need to disconnect. Maybe you need to go on your own, or maybe you need to connect with your partner. But you also have just laugh. Maybe you need to disengage from unhealthy, intense, challenging, stressful, crisis-oriented situations and just laugh, not even get involved in a situation. Or perhaps you need to spend more time alone with your partner where things are lighter, where you can just laugh and be free and open. Your muse energy is reversed. You have Saraswati mastery, but in the reverse, something needs to be aligned. So let's see what that is. Are you someone who begins things with great enthusiasm, but when you realize the scope of the situation, you move on to something else? Could it be you're dealing with someone like this? Ambivalence is something to be careful of at this time, as you recognize you need more knowledge and energy than what you have to move forward competently. The goddess Saraswati reminds you that there are no shortcuts on the journey, and partial knowledge does not make you a master. In fact, your alignment task is to stop working in a scattered way. It's time for some deep diving into the subject of your inquiry to really get a command of the terrain. Offer the commitment of your time and energy, and you will feel the surge of power as you move into a more masterful role in all areas of your life. Stick with it, keep learning, and keep practicing your craft, your heart commitment, your meditation, and your self-expression. Stay present to it all, and you will be glad that you did. So perhaps there's, some pretense about, your education or your history where you don't fully have a grasp on it. Maybe you need to dig a little bit deeper. Also looking at a history of unhealthy habits, not really putting the time and effort needed into something. So it's time for you to retreat, have a sense of humor, and perhaps look at where you need to evolve in some way or push yourself a little bit harder, up-level your game a little bit more. All right, Sagittarius, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notify bell button, and please leave me some comments.